This is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
It was a worst-case scenario last week as the price for a barrel of oil fell below zero, something that had never happened. It sent shockwaves through the stock market with the realization that with so much oil on the market and few buyers, the oil industry is in for a big challenge, and that means Houston is in for an even bigger one. Joining me this morning to talk about what the short and long-term impacts will be on the city of Houston and this region, Patrick Jankowski, Senior Vice President of Research for the Greater Houston Partnership, Dr. John Diamond, who is the Director of the Center for Public Finance at Baker Institute at Rice University. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Hey, you know, Patrick, seems to me the GHP has a real vested interest in what the city of Houston economy is doing here. Is there any way to overstate how badly Houston will suffer as a result of what's happening in the oil industry?
The oil is one of the key industries. It employs 14 people in the region directly. And so anything which impacts oil is going to definitely impact Houston. Probably the worst downturn in the oil and gas industry, not since the 80s, but definitely since the Great Recession.
So the GHP had already sent signals that traditional oil and gas industries wouldn't be the same economic driver going forward as it had been in the past. There were some diversification issues or instances of people trying to do more diversification in our community. Is it safe to say that those diversification efforts may be too little and too late?
I think what we're seeing going on right now shows all the more reason why we need to be diversifying away from traditional fuels. The traditional fuels are still going to be important. The problem is they're cyclical, and the problem is that we have these ups and downs. But no, it's not too little too late, but we definitely need to stay focused.
Dr. Diamond, bankruptcies in the United States and Canadian energy sectors were down by increased by 50% last year, and that's a strong indication that the sector was in some kind of trouble. Talk about the ripple effect in our community of what's going on in the energy sector and how it impacts us in Houston.
Okay, well, yeah, unfortunately, we entered the year on pretty weak footing. I think there were a lot of smaller firms that were already struggling to stay afloat, and a lot of them were taking on debt at a pretty good clip to do that. And as prices have fallen more, I think it's just put them at a point where remaining feasible is no longer really an option, and they're going to have to start shutting down, especially now. I mean, now there's just no question. And as those firms shut down, unfortunately, we're losing not just jobs, but high wage jobs, median and high wage jobs. And those are the worst types of jobs to lose because they're good jobs that give people enough money to buy a house, have a nice level of consumption, which then supports a lot of businesses around the city. And when those jobs go away, you'll definitely feel it.
Patrick, you've talked about that as well as being one of the key impacts of what's going on with this oil bust, not including what's going on with the pandemic, with the oil bust, all of those jobs that are going away, and it impacts so many different venues and so many different sectors within our community, restaurants, other kinds of positions in our community as well.
Yeah, I want to emphasize what Dr. Diamond said. Someone who works on the blue-collar side of oil and gas can easily make $100,000 in the industry. Someone who works on the white-collar side, they can easily make $150,000. These are the best-paid jobs in Houston. They pay better than anything, even in the medical center, unless you're a world-renowned heart surgeon. You're not going to make money like that. The oil and gas industry, it's not just the jobs. They support the opera. They support the ballet. If you go to a baseball game, all the signs in the outfield at Minute Maid Park, the oil and gas firms which are sponsoring it, they are key to this community continuing to have such a wonderful quality life and have all the other opportunities which are available to us as Houstonians.
Both of you are economists. Dr. Diamond, let me ask you first. You know, Houston's been through oil booms and busts before. With what's going on now with the influence of the pandemic as well, is there any way to guesstimate or analyze or forecast how deep this impact will be and for how long, or is it too early to even start doing that right now?
I mean, it's pretty early. You know, my view is that it's going to last a lot longer than we would like it to. I think the recovery is, people have said, you know, you can't just turn the switch back on when we're done with the lockdown. And I think we're going to find that that's a lot more true than we want it to be. restarting an economy, there's no formula for that. It's not clear how to even restart an economy, especially when, you know, a large part of your economy is going to be in a getting smaller phase. Oil is even when demand rebounds, the oil industry still has a phase out to go through to get smaller, leaner, more competitive, and that's going to be a painful process that won't happen over 2 or 3 months. It's more likely to take 2 years, and so I think we're in for some lean years, and you know, we talk about businesses, but it's also at the government level. The government's going to collect a lot less in taxes, and those taxes support a lot of important things like the development of roadways, increases in drainage, things that Houston critically needs.
Right. Patrick, the increase in oil production in this country has been tremendous over the last number of years. And at one point in time, that was supposed to be a big asset for us. It seems like now with there's so much, has that backfired? Because the United States, we were pumping so much oil, we got to a point where we were being pretty independent as far as that's concerned. How much of an impact has the Russia and Saudi increases in oil had on all of this? And did the whole thing of us being so productive as far as oil and gas, has that backfired at all?
No, well, we were producing crude because the world needed it. The problem is the world doesn't need it right now. We weren't building up the inventories where we have. Kimber, I want to put in perspective so people understand just how badly we are glutted right now with oil. We consume on a global basis about 100 million barrels a day in a normal time frame. Now we're only consuming about 70 million barrels a day. So you can eliminate the entire U.S. production, you can eliminate all Saudi production and some of Russia production, and only then balance the markets. And so this goes beyond all that. This is simply no one is consuming oil because no one's going to work. Things aren't getting shipped. And it's because it's all been brought on because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's not that we did anything wrong. It's the fact that the global economy is nearly shut down.
Dr. Diamond, the city of Houston budget has already been in some pressure before COVID-19, and now with COVID-19 and oil. Talk about the impacts that you expect for the city to have. I know that you've written a little bit about how much the infrastructure is going to be impacted negatively as a result of this. What kind of challenges are we likely to see because of that for the city's budget?
They're going to be devastating challenges. The controller put out a report in early March that showed that we were already struggling even before the main impacts of the health crisis hit us. And so things are only going to get worse going forward. We're going to have to really be creative in saving money and doing the required maintenance we need to keep Houston, you know, beautiful and productive. But it's going to be tough times. Housing prices will be falling as people in the oil industry lose jobs, as the economy is just in a downturn from the lockdown. And the hardest thing is, when does it come back? Because even if the government says you're free to go, you're free to open up and run your business, are people going to just return to restaurants and return to working out at gyms or going to public gatherings that include a lot of people? Yeah. I think people are risk averse and they're going to avoid a lot of those activities for a while.
You're probably right about that. We're going to talk more about what this all means with our experts coming up on a Newsmakers Extra. That's on click2houston.com and the Newsmakers page to get more from our economists, Patrick Jankowski and Dr. John Diamond, about Houston's financial future and how we all might be impacted in the weeks and months ahead.